it's a spreadsheet, an access database, some information from your gold mine or your Sage system, all into a single place that you can then drag and drop and create real easy to use visualizations, it's a hard word, visualizations to look at a bar chart, a pie chart, whatever that might be, to deliver more, for me to take that data and turn it into information. As we really look at the different roles that business intelligence and Power BI can serve, we really look at the different people who use it. You know, we're not all just about developers, and developers have the data and they present it to you how you want to see it. What if I want to shift that in a different way? I don't want to see it on a monthly basis or a weekly basis. I want to see it quarterly. Oh, we're going to have to go develop another report. It's really that idea that a business user, when they've had the data exposed to them, can then deliver it and manage that. I actually used it to create a dashboard for our consultants so that they understand what are they doing in the next 5 days, what tasks did we assign them the previous 5 days. We, like it or not, use Excel for scheduling, and so as we look at that Excel file, pulling that data by a person's name, by a client name, putting that into a nice little dashboard that my team can look at and understand, what do I have coming up? And what might on a Friday, I need to go back and look at what I was supposed to do on Tuesday because I feel like there's something I forgot. So it's that combination of information and data to really give people and allow people to make intelligent decisions, and then really simplify that security and management based on who I am and what I've been granted access to. So let's see. And of course.
Introducing Power BI by Microsoft. Power BI is a cloud-based business analytics service, enabling anyone to visualize and analyze data with greater speed, efficiency, and understanding. Get started with Power BI in seconds. Just sign up and you're good to go. Within minutes, you'll see your data in new ways thanks to content packs, pre-built dashboards and reports by popular service providers like Salesforce.com or Google Analytics. And in one dashboard, you'll experience a live 360-degree view of your business. Monitor your data in real time from nearly any device across all major operating systems. Set up mobile alerts to your phone when your data changes, and share your reports and dashboards with ease. Drag and drop features enable you to go deeper with your data and explore it in new ways by asking simple questions. No need to learn a new language with Power BI. Easily clean, shape, and model your data to create impactful, shareable reports. Power BI. Experience your data. Any data, any way, anywhere. Sign up for Power BI today.
So when you talk about the integration with, or maybe it's not integration, but functionality with Salesforce and other tools, is it really integrated, or is it just a few steps below integration?
I would say it's really integrated. It's pulling that information real time as you create that connector or as you refresh a report. Let's say that you have in Salesforce, you have a list of your closed won opportunities. When I go and open my dashboard to see closed won opportunities by, or orders by zip code, it's gonna make that call out to Salesforce or whatever you might have connected to it to actually grab that. If it's something where you have data in an Excel file and you put it up on SharePoint, you can tie that Excel file as your data model into Power BI, and it'll pull from that Excel file every time you open up the dashboard. So it really is truly real-time integration.
We actually integrate Power BI with Microsoft Dynamics. And so we have a sales team, and our executives want to see everything, but at a very high level, not granular. But so what the integration does is it pulls all the data for the sales team, and it gives it to the executives with high-level numbers as far as how much is in the pipeline, what's closed, who's closing it, versus having to log into like a Salesforce and identifying that one by one.
Yeah. And then because of that integration, There's the ability to kind of dial in by county, by zip code, by state, whatever I
If
might
you
want
wanna
to do.
drill down,
you
you
want
can
to drill
do
into
that.
it, yeah.
And there's no programming required to be able to kind of push that all forward. Especially with the larger systems like Dynamics or Salesforce and Workday, things like that, where they can actually, all of that hard work, that build has already been done by Microsoft or other organizations. So last year we have Microsoft Teams. Teams is Microsoft's newest solution, in my opinion. Hasn't really found its niche. Teams came out and really delivered a little bit on, is anybody here familiar with Slack? So Slack is kind of a real-time chat solution that has become very popular with developers. Instant messaging, but instant messaging with pictures, and so I can post all my funny cat pictures, and then I can comment on them, and then I can post a design document or a PDF about an event that we're hosting and all that information, and it's kind of just a threaded, searchable, and you can create different rooms and different silos. Microsoft also had Skype for Business out there, which was their traditional instant messaging presence, telephony, screen sharing. Teams is really the merging of those two technologies, so that I have the ability to communicate in real time, persistent chat, have all that live on, but then also go for that higher cross-functional interaction. So as I talk about the ability to really kind of work through everything from continuous discussions to collaboration and chat with someone on my team, right-click, call them, start a video conference, things like that. All that's built into Teams and integrated within the solution that Teams provides, so that you can really kind of work through a really varied need and kind of serve those all through Teams, and then again have that be as part of your standard Office 365 license to support that whole solution for your team. And then 6 weeks later, when you remember, I thought we were talking about this at the beginning of September. It's now the beginning of October, and I can't remember where it is. Go search for, the Lake County Chamber of Commerce, and up comes that presentation that Juan and I had worked on, and the discussion we had going back and forth about, do we want to include this or that? I now see our conversation in Teams instead of just via email. Teams also has some neat integration where I can actually email something to the team, so you get an email address for your team, and then have that email, if it comes from an external party or someone who's not involved in the team, you can forward that in, and it'll actually become part of your persistent kind of team room, and that ability to kind of have it live on.
So is this going to replace Yammer?
Yammer will become the backbone of Teams persistent chat eventually. So Yammer, kind of like how Skype for Business has been folded into it, Yammer is going to take over for the, let's say, somewhat challenging interface that Teams has.
Was it an acquisition? Like Skype was an acquisition. I mean, it replaced, what was it, Microsoft?
Link.
Link. Well,
Yeah.
even before Link.
OCS, Office Communications.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it replaced that stuff. Yeah.
Yammer was the first acquisition, and then I can't think of the competitor. It was one of Slack's competitors that Microsoft bought and turned into Teams over about the last 18 months.
Hey, welcome to Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a new collaboration app that helps your team stay organized and have focused conversations all in one place. Let's take a look around. Here you can see a list of all your teams. Your team conversations are called channels and can be organized however you like, by topic, department, project, or even just for fun. Channels are open to everyone on a team, so anyone can drop in and see what everyone's talking about. The tabs at the top of each channel allow you and your teammates to keep your files, notes, apps, and websites where everyone can reach them. If you need to meet really quickly, there's a video button below your compose box that will let you start an impromptu meeting right then and there. Since the meeting's happening in a channel, anyone can join in. Want to chat one-on-one or with a smaller group? No problem. Just click chat and you'll see a list of all your private conversations. Quickly start a new chat here, or click on someone's name to continue an existing conversation. If you want to call people from a chat, you can do that right here. Click on Activity to catch up on all your likes, @mentions, replies to your messages, and more. Staying on top of your schedule is easy. Just click on Meetings to see everything you've got on your schedule for the day. If you click on Files, you get easy access to all the files belonging to your personal OneDrive for Business account and your team's SharePoint. It's always nice to introduce some fun into your workday. Here's where you can find your favorite emoji. Here's where you can search for the latest GIFs. And here's where to find stickers and memes that you can actually edit. Because Microsoft Teams works the way you work, you can take your conversations from your desktop and continue them on your mobile device, so you're always up to date. Thanks for taking the tour. Now bring in your team and let the collaboration begin.
That's it. Does anybody have any other questions?
I have a question, but it's Microsoft.
The problem is, there's no good way to get your favorite apps to talk to each other, to connect them, and automate the tasks that are so time consuming. Or is there? With Microsoft Flow, whether you start from a template or create your own multi-step flow across several apps, it's simple. Why constantly check email when you can get a text message anytime anyone important emails you? Automating that means you can use that time to do other things. And Microsoft Flow can really help get things connected. Say someone tweets about your company. Set up a flow that follows them, sends a nice reply, adds them to a spreadsheet that gets emailed to you for your approval, then adds their contact to Salesforce or Dynamics 365. And with the Microsoft Flow app, you can monitor, manage, and create flows from anywhere. For tasks that need to happen now, like instantly blocking out the next hour in your calendar, we've designed flows that start with a tap of a button. How about that? That's technology talking together, working smarter, so you can work less and do more.
Thing about these people, each one of them was born to do a whole bunch of things. Interpret new information, come up with ideas, work with other people. But companies, they have to do a lot of complicated things. They've developed intricate machines, drawn up elaborate org charts, and built big buildings in different places. This makes it hard for people to do the things they were born to do. Collaborating is harder. Change is tougher to adjust to. Information can be difficult to track down. People feel disconnected and don't think anyone cares to hear the smart things they have to say. At Yammer, we're here to help these people help their companies. Companies want to succeed. And they've come to realize the way we work impacts the work we do. That's why they're turning to Yammer. Yammer breaks down walls, opens dialogue, and frees information to help the people who make companies run them better. With Yammer, people are connecting and collaborating over distance and across disciplines. They have access to the tools, systems, and information to do work that's informed and inspired. Companies are more agile and adapt fluidly to even the most major changes. Every employee feels empowered and engaged. They have a voice, and they use it. The next generation of work revolves around people, and it's happening right now, inside the companies using Yammer. The way we work will never be the same. Take your company social with Yammer, and make the most of your most valuable resource, your people.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. We're excited because we want to do more of these educational opportunities. I am not going to take up much time because I know we started a little bit late, but we want to have one just sharing us Office 365, right?
Yeah.
Some of the tricks that they can help us to better improve our productivity. So I'll turn it over and you and John, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for coming and learning about Microsoft Office 365. My name is Juan Medina. I am with Omni, and here we have John.
John Osmer, I'm with PSM.
Our companies work together. We specialize in information technology. John's company specializes in the infrastructure side of technology. My company specializes in the software side of technology. So today, and I know I'm probably going a little fast, but we want to discuss what exactly is Office 365, how it compares to other Microsoft Office packages that are out there in the market that you may be utilizing, and also walk through some of the special Microsoft applications that you may or may not be using, but if you you do have them, if you have the Enterprise Edition, and you just may not be utilizing them because you don't know that they're there. And so, again, Omni is a technology consulting firm. We are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that's our headquarters, and then we have a second office in Appleton, Wisconsin, where all of our developers are actually located at. And so, Omni specializes, again, in software development. We do IT staffing. We've been in business for 35 years, primarily in Wisconsin. We have some clients as well that are also in Illinois, but really we can take over like any type of software project and go from start to finish or go midway to finish if there's something that's going on and there's some challenges. These are some of our clients that we've worked with. One of my clients personally is Medline, right down the road. We do a lot of work for them. We've done a lot of work for AbbVie, as well as Abbott, but being in business for 40 years, we've attained a lot of different logos throughout the states.
And for PSM, we're a little bit newer. We've been in business for 4 years, but our leadership comes from a company that was in business for 20 years before that. Grew very large. They grew a very large company and decided that we really wanted to get back to that small business, mid-market business where the technology that we put in place really makes a difference in your everyday world. So really focusing on helping you understand what's the investment you're making and then what are you going to realize out of that investment and make sure that you make the most of that. We are 50 people. We're located in downtown Chicago, and we do everything from, like Juan said, the infrastructure side of things to that level 1 help desk. So for small organizations that need printer services, need computers taken care of, things like that. We do not have a very sophisticated or significant market presence. We do a fair amount of work in nonprofit and healthcare, but we can span across all different industries and verticals and really take what we've learned at various organizations to bring that to bear on the challenges you're facing. So how many people here are familiar with Office 365? Okay, so we've got a fair amount of people. So really, Office 365 is Microsoft's answer to cloud productivity. So in the past, a lot of these solutions were enterprise class that you would have to get a large hardware footprint, a large investment in the software, have someone come in and build that, configure it, and deliver it to you so that your employees could use it. Now, a lot of these are all really encompassed in Office 365. The ability to have these advanced tools and take advantage of some of these that we'll be talking about and not have to make that investment beyond a per user per month cost. So you can really, in an operating cost model versus that more hardware type investment, really make the most for your dollar on everything from business class email to those financially backed SLAs where if something does happen, Microsoft actually pays you back for that. When you look at what Office 365 is, it's really, I would say it's almost 12 or 14 different applications that are all tied together. For your users or yourselves, it's that one password to get into all my suite of applications. So I don't have to remember a bunch of different passwords for different websites. It's all really put together. And then over the past years, that ability to do that on a mobile device, on an iOS, on an Android, whether it's a native app like the Outlook app for your iPhone, or whether it's through just going to the website and being able to open that from something. Maybe if you're traveling, I need to get in and print an email or something. So that ability to really work anywhere, work together, but have that security backed up by what Microsoft has put out there. Any questions on kind of the basics? All right. As we look at the different, the kind of what I would call the collaboration landscape in Office 365, there's a lot of different tools that overlap. Kind of starting from the right hand, or your left hand, my left hand side, your right hand side, Skype. So Skype is really Microsoft's video and chat program. If you're familiar with Slack, somewhat similar to Slack in the idea that I can chat with people, but a little bit different in that it also allows you to do screen sharing and point-to-point phone calls. So if you want to have a soft phone and that ability to call someone without actually having a handset. SharePoint's really the heart of collaboration as you look at document management, document retention, versioning, all those different types of things, where instead of having them on a bunch of different laptops or different workstations, servers, what do I do with all my really important documents? Put those up in SharePoint so that they can be managed and backed up and owned appropriately. I think pretty much everybody is familiar with Outlook, that idea of calendaring, contacts, email. But in Office 365, some of the advanced features around mailbox sharing, auto responses, and some of those things that maybe you can't do through a traditional solution. And then over to the left-hand side, Yammer and Teams are two newer responses in Microsoft's collaboration landscape around the ability to really deliver that more cohesive discussions, as well as a little bit more of a video chat type of different screens, those live tiles of people as they sit in a room and collaborate. In addition to the collaboration pieces, several newer applications, as you look at Power BI, Office Planner, and Microsoft Flow, are really newer tools in Microsoft's Office 365 solution suite that allow you to do different types of collaboration. Maybe I want to do some dashboards and get out of, whether it's sales performance or whether it's your inventory. I want to get that stuff out of just sitting in an Excel file and be able to look at it, interact with it, drill into, in a particular county or a particular state, what kind of business have I been trending. And then as you look at Office Planner, that idea of doing appointments and scheduling through there is something that's very, very useful. One of the newer tools. So as you subscribe to Office 365, they keep adding on new pieces of functionality as the organizations ask for it, and Microsoft kind of comes up with it, or they purchase a tool and kind of fold it in. It's an always evolving suite of services for your subscription dollars. And then as you look at SharePoint Online, we're really talking about that idea to both deliver that document management and sort of that ownership, but that ability to also edit anywhere. So if I'm working on a proposal or I'm working on a brochure, if that's stored in Office 365, I can actually collaborate real time. If Juan and I are working on this presentation, it's in Office 365. He could be working on slide 4, I'm working on slide 14 at the same time in the same document, and you always have that most recent copy. A lot of times we see huge value for a sales organization where they have some pricing sheets and some marketing materials. How do I know that I have the most up-to-date version? Go to SharePoint and you always know it's there.
So you guys can both have it checked out essentially at the same time?
Editing it through the web, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Spreadsheets too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Spreadsheets are a little bit more challenging because it locks about 5 rows as you're working with something. If it's a big spreadsheet, not a problem. Smaller spreadsheets sometimes will deliver that. I can't edit this row I'm working on. Well, that's because it doesn't necessarily know which direction you're going to go. So sometimes it's not quite that tight. So SharePoint Online, while we're talking about this solution, it's not actually an application. It's not something that you download and install on your computer. It lives in a website. It's used and accessed through your web browser, but then it's integrated into the Office suite or into your iOS or Android device so that I can edit that document without actually having a license for SharePoint or having a license of Word on this device. I need to go work on this document. I have the ability to get in there and access it. And then from a collaboration standpoint, as you kind of move to that, as you think about my work within a solution, that crawl, walk, run, as I get past crawling with just documents and kind of document management, we see a lot of organizations putting together little mini intranets or a little home landing page for your employees to find out how do I apply for a day off? What are my options for health insurance, or what are my options for different benefits? The ability to kind of build that website that's just a really small piece of content. You don't need to know programming, you don't need to know HTML or development language to do that. You're doing kind of inline editing like you're working in Microsoft Word, but I'm clicking through and kind of building out that those bullet points, uploading those documents and what have you. So we talked about creating websites. Content control, if you have multiple people who you want to have work on that, you can have multiple people editing content, and you can put workflow out there so that I get to approve it before someone else actually makes it live for your employees. Search, so the ability to take all those files you have and put an intelligent search engine on top of it with some convenient operators of, when was it authored, who was it authored by, and some keywords, and put that all together to actually find something that maybe you don't have access to because it's on a shared drive or on a single computer with thousands of files.
So is this also working across the same information that exists maybe in Excel and PowerPoint,
Yeah,
etc.?
so as long as it's Excel, PowerPoint, Word documents, most PDFs, if it's a more recently scanned document where it does OCR, the ability to search within PDF, and then if you tag things or add additional information to the file, it'll be able to search on that as well.
Okay.
So any questions about SharePoint? We've got a quick video here. So close.
History has taught us that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That working together, we are able to accomplish more than we could ever accomplish on our own. That when great minds come together, anything is possible. So we are reinventing the way people work together. We are making it easier than ever before to share ideas, discover connections, ask questions, find answers. Stay in sync. Organize information. And build the team that takes an idea and makes it a reality. SharePoint, the new way to work together.
Any questions on the broad concepts there on SharePoint?
Still looking on the size of the file.
Oh, size of a file, probably.
Storage.
Storage space, you get, I believe, 2 terabytes with each license at a certain level, and file size, it's probably more going to be limited by your bandwidth and how quickly it takes to upload and download. But it's gotten, it's gotten really, we have some clients who use 200, 300 gigabyte files for drafting organizations, and they open it right out of AutoCAD. It lives in SharePoint, they edit it, and it's basically seamless to them, that it doesn't live on a hard drive sitting in their office. All right.
So moving on, Office Planner is a platform for individuals to manage tasks. It's actually one of the newer platforms that Microsoft has incorporated into the Office 365. Really, the word of today is collaboration. So you're going to hear that a lot. John has said it, I'm going to say it, and we're going to repeat it throughout the presentation, because Microsoft has taken that word collaboration, has really implemented it into their Office suite, because nowadays everything's moving towards technology, that people have to be able to collaborate, whether it's across the globe, whether it's in a different office, whether it's working from home and then maybe working from a different location. And so the intent of Microsoft is just to make the work easier so that way you can become more productive. With Planner, it gives you the accessibility to manage the tasks, manage other people's tasks, take an analysis to see if, how far that task has been done. So if you're, let's say, a manager or a project manager, and you have, specific projects or something that is urgent with timelines, it's a great platform for you to utilize and really oversee and manage every single person within a team, with what their projects are, give you the analytics behind it, and really give you that insight into what is going on in your business for, at that time and moment. So these are just two screenshots. Here's, we can consider it the main dashboard. You put everybody into like a bucket. So let's say you have sales, you have marketing, you have operations. They all have different tasks. They're all moving at different speeds of light. And so, but the person that's overseeing everything needs to really be able to have that insight into everything. And so that's where Planner would actually come into play. Here's another video. There's going to be a few videos that we'll go over just to give you really good understanding of these systems, partly because,
So it's not a replacement for Microsoft Project, it's really more of a higher level view.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Project is very micro.
Okay.
This is macro. Yeah, and so with,
I think you just scroll over to the screen or the right.
Meet Molly. She works at a fast-paced design firm. On any given day, Molly can be part of several teams at once. She and her co-workers work on so many tasks and exchange so much information over emails, instant messages, and files that their teamwork has become difficult to organize. Molly wishes her team could plan efficiently and collaborate effortlessly while keeping track of their tasks and timelines. Now they can. Meet Microsoft Planner. This is the Planner Hub. It shows Molly all her current teams and a visual progress tracker for her favorite plans. Yellow for tasks not yet started, red for late tasks, blue for in progress, and green for completed. Today, Molly is working on the marketing campaign. With a single click, she launches the board for the marketing campaign plan. It shows Molly all her team's work organized by buckets of tasks. There's a big event upcoming, and Molly wants to drive guest registration. She adds a new bucket and easily drags and drops a couple of tasks from her team's to-do list. Next, Molly assigns Bonnie a task by dragging and dropping. To give Bonnie a head start, Molly attaches a document she has been working on from the group's document library in Office 365. Molly also responds back to a comment that one of her coworkers left for her. Powered by Office 365, these files and conversations stay attached to the task for better collaboration and knowledge retention. Molly wants to see the team's outstanding tasks organized by person. She clicks Group By and selects Assign To. Now she can see who's responsible for what. Molly finds a couple of unassigned tasks and assigns them to Alex, who recently joined the team. Is the team making enough progress? To answer this, Molly changes to the charts view and gets an instant visual representation of everyone's progress. Looks like Bonnie is having a hard time keeping up with her tasks. With one click, Molly can filter for all of Bonnie's late tasks and then easily assign one of those to herself to keep the team on track. Planner sends email notifications when new tasks are assigned and works across lots of devices and platforms, so collaboration can happen effortlessly anywhere. Plan, collaborate, succeed. Microsoft Planner. Teamwork organized.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and so like if you're working for a company and you really have those responsibilities to oversee what everybody is doing, Planner's the application to do that and really give you insight into everything that's deliverable and the timeline for that.
That's as long as everybody in your organization is Windows-based, right? You work not Apple.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, because it's all web-based, you know, they might not have the, some of the application views, but if they can get to a website, they can get to Planner or SharePoint or any of those tools.
Office 365 is cloud, so you know there's no application in that sense, and they did that on purpose, so that way people could collaborate, and not everybody's having to log into some sort of server, you know, and everything is real time. So they're just Microsoft is putting a lot of emphasis into cloud organization, and so that's why they created the Office 365 suite.
So if you don't mind me asking, so have you guys had a chance to look at like the disruptors like Facebook just came out with their own workspace? Okay. Yes. And that's freeware. So for me as a small business owner, freeware is way better than paying the Microsoft licensing fees, right? So is this so substantially better, or is this really?
Well, it really depends on your needs, and that's how I would answer it. You know, every business is different, you know, small businesses as well. So it could be that this may not be the fit for you, but for another small business owner, let's say Debbie's Floral Shop, who has orders of bouquets, and she has to keep track of all of them through different people. Where is Debbie?
She just went to
of course she did.
She's going to check on an order.
I know, right? So she may want to manage that because she has all of these orders and people that have to assemble all that, you know, and I'm just using that hypothetically. But again, some of the apps could, you know, fit into any business or maybe not.
And I think too, as you look at something like that Facebook solution and freeware solutions, sometimes it comes down to data security and, you know, what do I know I own and who has access to
You
that.
think Facebook isn't protecting my data?
I didn't say that.
Awesome. So moving on, Yammer. Who's heard of this Yammer? Have you? Are you the only one? Yeah.
I didn't know, what does it mean, Yammer? What is Yammer?
I know. So, you know, it's a private platform. Think of Facebook, but inside of a company. So nobody from the outside could actually get into the Yammer system. So you have to be a registered employee of a specific domain, and then you can create the system so that way these employees can communicate, collaborate, depending on what they need to accomplish. They can socialize, they can talk to each other, manage specific conversations, all through this system. So again, I like to say it's similar to type of Facebook, but really has nothing to do with Facebook whatsoever. It just takes that characteristic of social networking and incorporates it into a company. And so I wanted to portray, the old way is you send an email to, let's say, 10 people asking for something, nobody responds. You send it again, you forward it, nobody responds because nobody knows who's it addressed to, and then so on and so on and so on. With Yammer, it's a website. You just like, Planner, you can type in your questions or whatever. Everybody would be notified. It's really just a matter of like making a comment on Facebook, same thing. You'll make a comment on Yammer and then people will see it like, oh, I got that. And so it's much faster than email, just because with email it's very old fashioned. People are definitely working differently nowadays than 20 years ago when Outlook actually was the application of choice back then. So it's really a good way to share knowledge faster and more efficiently.
And then the nice thing about Yammer too is that it's persistent. So if I talk about something 2 weeks later, I don't have to scroll through emails and try and find it. I can search it and find it on Yammer.
Yep. is. Yeah.
Are you running it across the web or are you running it local?
No, it's local to his Wi-Fi. Well, we'll skip that video, I'm sorry. But Microsoft Flow. So with Microsoft Flow, it's a business process automation tool. It gives businesses the platform to automate manual processes. And so with lots of processes, lots of human intervention, people are always getting involved, where Flow will take the human out of it and systematically process whatever task is needed and then trigger the next step in that particular workflow. And then you can utilize it so that way you can manage that workflow more efficiently, more effectively, faster, so that way it increases productivity. Ultimately, you really don't need a developer. It's what we call like citizen developer, a business user can put it together. They just take all those tasks. So like, let's say for instance, there's an email that's sent, but you want to be notified via text. So whenever you get an email, you'll then, with Flow, could say, when I get an email, text me. So then that way you never have to log into Outlook. You can just get your text via email through Microsoft Flow. So that's an easy way to ultimately just explain it. But again, it gives you the opportunity to use your feeds. It gives you a mobile app, so that way you can manage everything on your phone with your tasks, with your processes. It gives you the security. Microsoft invests a lot in the security of their cloud. And so, obviously Microsoft is very, huge globally. They, have governments using them. They have very large institutions, enterprises using them that are have to be compliant with privacy laws, HIPAA high tech. And so, utilizing Microsoft and their, cloud environment and using Flow will actually, improve your productivity and keep you compliant as well at the same time. But it gives you also the option to use multi-steps, so that way if there's multiple triggers, you can use Flow, so that way if this happens, then that happens, and almost like a workflow. Hence the name. John, do you want to look at this?
There's no such thing as look less.
I know. Oh, I know. Yeah, you figure
It flashes once on the little screen, and then nothing happens. Try right click.
Why did the first one work?
Yeah. And it comes up at the end, right before you switch.